Hey everybody, looks like we are live. I'm getting good with this software. I bet you thought I was frozen for a second, right? I was like having trouble. No, but everything's good. We're looking good. Sound is good. How's the sound? Whoa, see, that's really loud. So let's put that over here just a little bit like that. Let's see who we have here today. We have Roy, good to see you. Mr. John, Total Pain Graphics, good to see you. We have John Diekman all the way from Wisconsin. Paul, how's it going, my friend? And we have Tone from Queens. And Patty, we have Patty here. That's really good. So good to see you all so far. Great group already. It is cold, right? Yes, it's getting cold out there. We are going to get snow here in New Jersey. I look like I just woke up, but I didn't. I think that's my normal look for today. Looks like Tim just woke up, you know? And so good to see you there, Tone. Good to see you, Paul. Good to see everybody. So it looks like we are ready for part 3. Got a little white thing over here. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. Time to make another hat, most likely. So part 3, working in the sepia. Having a good time, working hard. So we are going to kick some major butt today. 21 degrees right now, Patty. That is cold, yes. And yeah, so winter is in full regalia right now, right? It's doing what it is going to do. So yeah, I'm just doing different things with camera angles. You know, I can do that camera angle. That's not bad. I can do this camera angle over here. Where's this one? Oh, okay. So this one, no. Okay, where's the other one? Anyway, so we'll do this camera angle and I'll switch it around. When you get tired of looking at me at this particular pose, this particular angle, I'll move you over. So this way you don't hurt your eyes. Okay, so Rick, I do see you. How you doing, Rick? How's everything? So I have my iced tea and I have lemonade. So 2-prong attack here for tonight. Gotta get through the live stream, you know, well hydrated and all that stuff. So that's good. Sound quality, how's the sound and picture? I think it's pretty good, but I'll hear what you all have to say. Let's see, if I go ahead and minimize this, I should have you on the big screen. Let's double check, keep our fingers crossed. Yes, all right, so nothing weird has happened. I can see the screen nice and big. So this was the thumbnail that I used. I took a picture for the thumbnail of this live stream. So we're pretty much going to be playing with the medium mixture for most part, and then we'll go into the dark mixture. So we're going to be moving around quite a bit, which will be good. Okay, so this is I believe this is Paul's airbrush, which I'm almost done with, and I also have someone else's airbrush, which is almost done. They'll be shipping out this week, so that's exciting. And let's see what else we have today. Okay, so let me get the top off of this. And let me put this on the hose and get this show on the road, right, my friends? And of course, this is my airbrush. And we're going to go ahead and load it with the medium mixture, but I'm going to be pretty far away. Medium mixture with the sepias, the sepia mixtures. So that's pretty cool. So everybody been getting into photography, upping up my photography game, trying to make everything look better than professional. That's my goal. So if my goal is better than professional and I come short and it's professional, then that's okay, right? That's not too bad. remember, whenever I test the air, I always, whenever I have the airbrush and I load it, I'm always going to test it off on the side, make sure that everything is operational. Everything looks good. Okay, let me take a sip of my lemonade here. Brad, how you doing? Good to see you. How's everything, my friend? Oh, that's so good. Just so good. Okay. Power of magnets. Let's see. Come over here. Okay, let me put the fan on. Okay. Now, let's get my reference out. It'll just be 1 second. If you haven't got Pure Ref, I really highly recommend Pure Ref. You will love it. It's the best thing since sliced bread. So definitely, definitely consider that, everybody. Hey, Blue, how you doing? Good to see you. Mr. GQ. Thank you so much. How's it going? How you feeling? So good to see you. Yeah, Brad, I heard you got a little snow. We here in Jersey, and New York City, we're nervous because we're getting 2 inches tomorrow. So that must make you laugh, huh? Okay, so here goes. I'm going to start erasing a little bit. So not much, just a little bit of erasing. Get my glove. I sent out a few gloves today. So you'll be getting your gloves from the contest. So that's going to be happening soon. Little by little, I'll be getting them out to you, everybody. So we have this hair here. Maybe we need to get a little more aggressive. There we go. Just to soften up this pencil line here. You got a foot yesterday, another dumping coming Friday. Holy Toledo. Blue, I'm so glad you're feeling better. That makes me happy. We need you at 100% creative strength. You're doing some amazing artwork over there. Just want to let you know that. Keep it up. You're inspiring me and countless others, okay? Don't think that what you're doing is not being noticed and appreciated. Just amazing stuff. Amazing, amazing. So I'm in the medium mixture. I'm just going to be working on solidifying some of these larger shapes here. Oh yes, so a while ago there was a contest and Mike Deloach went ahead and purchased the gloves for everybody that was there. I don't know if you were there, Tone. But yeah, so there was like a list. So I'm getting people their gloves little by little. So this is the list, I think. Colette, Steve Lang, John Payne, Raul, Chris Garcia, Willie, Rick, Blue, John Diekman. So those are, hey, what's up, sir? How's it going? Good to see you, my friend. So little by little, I'm getting those gloves out to everybody. And thanks for your patience. It's just been really difficult, you know, getting myself together. But slowly but surely, we're getting there, sir. So that's good. Oh, yes. Awesome work is true. Hey, what's up there, Mr. Kennedy? How you doing, sir? How you feeling? Better, I hope? I really hope you're feeling better. That's so scary. So now I'm just working on some of these large shapes. There we go. And let's see. Ah, so glad you're over it. Thank God. Thank God. That is such a blessing. So I'm so glad you're feeling better, my friend. So I'm just continuing to work on some of these larger shapes here. And you know, you want to hit and move, right? Hit and move, jab and move, right? So you don't want to stay in one area. Think of it like a puddle, right? You know, like when it starts raining and the ground is nice and dry, it starts soaking up that water from the rain. And then before you know it, it gets oversaturated and it can't soak up any water. And then a puddle is created. And then as subsequent raindrops fall on there, you get the splashes. That's exactly what's happening with, you know, spidering. So that's exactly what's happening. So moral of that proverb is to make sure that you let the ground catch up to the surface, let the paper catch up and soak up the ink that's on there before you go ahead and put more. That's always a great rule of thumb, you know. I'm so glad you're doing much better, Mr. Kennedy. You're a tough guy, so that's great to hear. And you're a very important member of the airbrush community, so we're very fortunate, everyone, that you're okay and still working, still sharing your passion. There we go. And let's see. Oh yeah, we were going to work on this area here. Let's move this over. Move this up just a tad so you can all see. You want to follow the grain of the skin. You see how we're doing that shadow there. And always remember, you're painting the light. You are not painting her. You're painting the light as it goes on her. It's kind of a radical concept, but it'll be a lot easier when you realize you're actually just painting the light. Sort of like a chemical reaction. So we're just getting the turning of the form there, you know? Oh, great. So you're going to Florida and take it easy. That's much better. That's great. And we're just going to continue turning this form here. And let's move on over to this area. Where can we go? Let's see if we can calm down. Where are Tim's glasses? They are over here. Ah, okay. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can calm down this pencil line. It's kind of crazy how dark this pencil line, but thank God it's pencil, right? Thank goodness it's pencil and not anything else. So pencil we can get rid of. With a little work, we can get rid of the pencil. Am I right? Hey there, Mr. Steve Leahy. How's it going? And Mr. Deloach, always great to see you. How was your birthday, Steve? Did you get a lot of good toys, I hope? Did you get a birthday cake? I didn't get a birthday cake this year. It's kind of a bummer. But what are you going to do? They can't all be great, right? You know, you got to have some turkeys, right? Just going to calm this down. That's the thing, a little bit, not much, but a little bit, the Createx 50/50 illustration white does get trapped underneath the, just a little bit, not too much. I mean, it's better than any other white out there, including inks, but a little bit does get trapped underneath. But if you work hard at it, you can definitely pull it up. You just gotta really get aggressive. Don't get too aggressive, but thank God we have the color line paper by Canson that allows us to really erase it and not have any issues with tearing up the paper. As long as the paper is thoroughly dry, you're going to be in good shape. So when you try doing something like this on wet paper, that's when weirdness starts happening, you know. Hey Blue, thank you so much for that. I so appreciate it. Blue with the $20. Oh, look at that for my cake. How cool is that? I am going to go buy a cake. Even though I'm dieting and I'm doing pretty good, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to go buy a cake, Blue. Thank you. That is going to be great. I'm going to take a picture of the cake so you can see it. And that's amazing, you know. And let's see here. So Mike asked you guys if you took advantage of the USA Airbrush Christmas sale. Did anyone go ahead and do that? That would have been pretty cool. So thanks again, Blue. That is so sweet. I really, really appreciate that. And so this is, so yeah, so you'll be getting your glove pretty soon, Blue, as well as everybody that was there that night. So, and some have already been shipped out, which is cool. And as you see, I'm just, now that I'm in eraser mode, let's go ahead and start erasing some of those lights. So that's good. Another birthday is always good, Tone. Yes, wise man, definitely. I hear you, especially what's going on these days. So sad with COVID. Am I right, everybody? It's just such a sad state of affairs. So what I'm finding is that these sepia inks work much better on white as they would on blue, you know. Depends on which 105 you ordered there, Mr. Leahy. Some of them are better than others. Which one did you get? Let's see. All 105s are not created equal. Mike says he received his 2 Patriot Xtremes and adapter kits. Very cool, very cool. Make sure when you get them that you see this little thing that it comes with. So inside you'll see these little corks that are in there. Get rid of them. I don't know what they're there for. I think it's some sort of gasket thing they were thinking of. Take an old needle when you do get the adapter that comes with your airbrush, and take it and go ahead and pull out those there's little tiny corks. If you don't, I'll go ahead and I'll go online and tell you I told you so. But yeah, that actually gets caught. Eventually that either crimps and cuts off your air, and so you'll have irregular air, or it actually will go up towards your, it just, so much can go wrong with that, and it really does nothing. So make sure you get rid of that little cork in there. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Paul. Forget the diet hot tea and tons of sugar. Well, I do have the cold diet tea right here. Only 10 calories, which is good. Paul, thank you so much for the super sticker and for supporting the channel and allowing me to, you know, go forward, get new products. And 2022 for Ink Flingers is going to be an amazing year. It is going to kick butt in so many different ways. So many new things down the pike. Colette, good to see you. The Xtreme Patriot to go with the arrow. Yes, so that's this guy right here, which you cannot go wrong. This is my customized version, of course, but this bad boy gives you amazing detail with that large cup. I will go head to head with anyone. I'm laying down the gauntlet. I'll go head to head with anyone out there who wants to go against my Xtreme Patriot arrow with anything they have out there, because I really feel that, you know, when you tune up this bad boy and the Xtreme Patriot arrow, that 1-2 punch that I think is unbeatable. Plus, it's like the difference between Rocky and Apollo Creed. You know, like this is the one that came out from the bad neighborhood. You know. And that's what I like, you know, the underdog, the one that's like $149. That can't do as good as an Iwata. But you know what? It really does. And that's what I love about it. I'm a big underdog guy because I've always been the underdog. When I played sports, I was always the guy who didn't have the talent but would knock you on your butt. If I was, you know, running home and the catcher had the ball, I would more gladly, like, try and knock him on his butt. I was always that kind of player, that kind of scrappy, you know, don't have a lot of talent, but, you know, I make up for it in sheer will, you know? So that's me. So think of me as like, yo, Adrian, you know, like that, you know? And that's the way this is. This is the Rocky of the airbrush world. Oh, I like that. What do you guys think? Yo, Adrian. So something like that, right? That sounds cool. You know, it's not a good idea if only I like it. But if it's, you know, if you're going to have one person like an idea, it might as well be yourself, right? That's the best person. And we're just going to work on that a little bit. There we go. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of a blue shift happening because of what happened was, so here was the problem. Yes, blue, that's right. Oh, Wendy, I'm not sure. I should give her an email to see how she is. Definitely. So I found these are two things I did wrong. First thing I did wrong was I went ahead and did the white mixture on this. Since the yellow paper is already light, the white mixture and is not much lighter. And then when I went over it with the light mixture of the sepia, it caused a little bit of a blue shift. So in the future, how I would combat that is I would most likely work on white Bristol or white color line paper and omit doing the white Createx. So omit that and then just at the end go in with the white pastel, you know? Oh no, so Wendy's not feeling well. Oh no. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thanks for the update, Blue. I definitely got to contact her. Aw, that's not good. She's such a nice lady. She really is. Really, really a sweet person. Colette, how are you today? Good to see you. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull out some of the lights here. And then we'll go ahead and darken as we go. So one of the great things about my live streams is I go in there, you know, I don't do anything outside of the live stream. So you're going to see the trials and tribulations of every piece. And that's good and bad, you know. You'll see that every artist goes through their little times of trouble. But, you know, how we work through it. And I think that's a great learning experience for you guys. See how an artist works through it, you know. Dylan, how you doing? Good to see you. Jesus, Roger, how you doing? So yeah, I would say the yellow's nice because you can get some nice effects with the yellow. But I think to use the full mixtures and everything, I think the best would probably be white. Remember I worked on the Bristol? That was much more successful. So I would do that. If I was to work on this, I would work on something slightly darker, and then I would omit the white Createx on this, and then just go straight in, and then just build up your values, and at the end come in with pastel. I think you'll be much more successful doing it that way. Oh, I like the way the yellow is going too, but there are, I'll be totally honest and transparent with you guys. Um, I think, I honestly feel that, um, you know, I could have went a different route, but it's a new technique. I think it's still great, but it's still a new technique. And Mr. Kennedy says, I don't know, Tim. I never make mistakes and everything goes perfect all the time. Well, you do some great work there, Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy says, it's like I wake up and God shoots lightning in my veins and says, thou shalt have a great... Oh, that's good. That should be, yeah, from your lips to God's ears. Uh, yeah, definitely. So I do like the white paper, and I do like this. But since it's a new technique, I think experimentation is always good. You know, this live stream is basically to show you all, you know, the sepia ink, how well it flows from the airbrush, which is really great. I love how it flows really nicely, and hardly any tip dry or anything like that, which is really great. So definitely a good product and something I worked on for quite some time. But I would say it's always best to, you know, work on whatever findings I have. I'll always share with you all, definitely. You know, we always have to... Yes, you do get the effects of simultaneous contrast. That's very true, Mr. Deloach. Definitely. And we're just going to continue working over here. And for me, it's outside my comfort zone, you know? So it's nice to be outside my comfort zone. Always is. Keeps you honest, right? Keeps you honest. So I'm just making that arm turn over here. And let's see, I have a larger eraser. And we're just going to continue working. Let me go get the larger eraser. I like this guy over here. It's really good. I got up. I had to make sure my fly wasn't open. Oh my God, that has happened too many times. Ugh. My family calls me the absent-minded professor because, you know, my mind is always someplace else, you know. Hey David, how's it going? Good to see ya. So glad you're here. So David, is this your first time with us here? If it is, welcome. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here. And always share any questions you might have. We have a lot of very knowledgeable people in this community here. So definitely feel free, you know. And Jesus, of course, he's here all the time. Thank God. You know, he's a very important part of Ink Flingers. So I'm so glad you're here. And let's see. So what I'm thinking of doing is plowing the field a little bit, getting rid of some of the white, and then coming in with the sepia, and we'll see how that works a little bit. So I'm kind of experimenting a little bit as well. So I'm gonna definitely perfect this technique, as I always challenge myself and always, you know, set down the gauntlet between me and whatever process I'm working with. And some names you cannot chat. And that's funny. And so David, are you an airbrush painter? And if so, where can I see your work? That would be great if you can share that with, you know, if you want to, you know, we can all check out your work, and, you know, I'm sure it's great. So as you see, I'm going to plow the field a little bit, and that's going to keep it from blue shifting. Kind of has a pencil look to it, doesn't it, right? much better when I plowed a field. So let's say you want to go ahead and put in a value. I think it would be best to take your eraser and maybe get rid of some of the white if there's white there. And I think that would serve you. Plus you can pull up some of the yellow that's underneath the white, give you a slightly darker, starker value, and that will work out. Just come over here. Now I'm going to plow the field a little bit right here. I'm going to get rid of some of the white. Like I said, it's good to work with the yellow, but get rid of, don't do the white process. If the white process, you know, it's not the end of the world. As you see, we can still create a really nice painting, but why go through that, right? You know, why put yourself through that? So what you're going to do is you're just going to plow the field first if you already did it. If you didn't, don't put the white there from the very beginning, okay? Because it's just going to cause an extra step as it is with me. There we go. So now when I come in with this value here, I'm going to have a lot easier time. As you can see, you see how there's no blue shift now, and I'm just having a much better time. So like chess, you know, it's like learning a new opening, right? You're going to have some growing pains. And you see now we can go ahead and model this chin here and the under part of her. I'm going to raise the air pressure just a little bit to get better atomization. As you know your airbrush more and more, you'll know about how it atomizes and everything, which will be really cool. So the more you paint, the more that you're going to be an airbrush whisperer. Here we go. And as you can see, look how much better that is once I plowed the field. So plow the field. That's the word of the day, plow the field. So today in the live stream, we're basically worried about, we're more worried about in the live stream modeling the form. That's the theme for today, modeling the forms. And let's see, right here, I want to get a little edge. There we go, little edgy edge. So Tone, how you liking your Sony? Tone got a great Sony camera, and they have really great metering systems built in there, and you know, great ISO numbers. Just a really nice camera all around, you know. Let's see. I'm going to bring this dark over here because we're modeling the forms, right? There's a lot of different forms that are on the, you know, on the human head, and that's what we're doing. We're just going to model the forms, and I'm going to zoom in. So that's the thing. If you did follow along, and you did put the white, which I don't recommend in the beginning. I recommend it when you're using my Airbrush India inks, because that works absolutely stunningly perfect. But when you're using these sepia inks, you're best off holding off the white till the end, right? Which is really cool. Yeah, that's a great camera. And great, yes, I missed the stream, but I know it was great. Oh yeah, so I recommend you getting the 50 millimeter, or you know, around there, a 50 millimeter. I know it's less expensive. I think it's a 1.8. That's a great first lens, you know, after you get the kit lens. Oh, so Mike says he fully disassembles and dress all contact surfaces with either 20. Oh, distress. Okay. Nice. Almost no friction. Perfect. That's really great, Mike. And do you do that on paper if you work on paper? That might be a silly question, but I don't know. Some people, you know, depending on what paper, you can do that, right? There you go. So I'm just going to continue with the normal program of attack. So I'm a chess player, and whenever I learn a new chess opening, invariably I have a hard time because you're working on things that are slightly different, and when you do that, things get a little more interesting. So that's definitely, you know, what happens. So, you know, so now I'm working in sepia. Not that I haven't worked in sepia hundreds of times, but these are new sepia mixtures and on a new surface and everything like that. So that made things a little bit interesting. So, but I always love to do it with you all and go through the process with you. Oh, anytime, my friend. And you need a flash. So your flash is going to be, your flash is going to be your biggest upgrade. Biggest upgrade. So that is going to be something that is going to bring your camera to life, my friend. A lot of people forget the flash. And you know, I have some great friends who have been helping me out during my exploration into photography, and I really appreciate them so much. Like, they just don't know. And it's interesting, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And with photography, I definitely am ready to learn a lot, to take it to a level that will surprise me. And I know it's going to help my artwork, it's going to help my students' artwork, and take everything, you know. Yes, David, I did take the photo for this. This is a photo I did back in 2007, and yeah, she's a great model. So that was before I knew a lot. This wasn't with flash. This was with constant light. So yeah, I was still learning at that time. Now I'm learning even more. So I want to take it to like a super level, you know, David? So I'm definitely pushing it to that next level. Colette, thank you. Well, I'm getting a book from the public library. I'm ordering it, and I think it has to do with mastering light. I think that's the name of the book. So you can see I'm kind of avant-garde. I first had the lemonade, and I switched on over to iced tea because I'm that kind of a crazy guy. Oh no! Patty, have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. You are so wonderful, and I'm so thankful for your support. Don't work too hard tomorrow, okay? If it's snowing, you stay home. And Jesus says, Tim, how can one say or know is ready to take your class? No experience. I have an amazing 6-year-old. And she has grown so much in the year that she has studied with me. So I can unequivocally say that no matter what level you're at, I can take your artwork from here to I can take you from a level 2 to a level 10. Anyone who has taken my my classes, they can concur. I always take you from a 2 to a 10, no matter where you are. We have people who are seasoned airbrush artists, and I take them from there to that next level. Because I'm not just teaching guys, I'm not just teaching airbrush. Anyone can teach you airbrush technique, but I'm teaching you how to see like artists. I'm teaching you how to understand the work of the old masters and how to apply what they're doing to your work. how to use photography and science and crafts, and take all that and make it into one big ball of creativity. And I learned just as much from my students as they learned from me, you know. So definitely, yeah. I should drink an Arnold Palmer, right? But the Arnold Palmer that's at Aldi's is diet, and I like this stuff, like that little type of Crystal Light stuff in there, because it tastes halfway decent. But when you get it pre-made, oh my goodness, I don't know what they put in it, but it's just nasty, right? Oh, you're welcome, Jesus. So everyone is always ready. And let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. You guys wait here. I'll be right back. I am back, and this time it's personal. Okay, so good to see you all, and that is really cool. And let's see, too much iced tea and lemonade. That could be it. Oh, no problem, Mike. When you're ready, there's a spot for you, okay? So, with honor. So you take your time. And like I said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So when you're ready, sir, then we'll definitely have a great time. It'll be wonderful to... There he is! Clutch, how's it going? Good to see you. How are you, my friend? So glad you're here. And we're just going to continue modeling these forms. So the good thing about the kind of shift, if you keep going over it, it disappears. So it just initially you get it, but then by going over it, it seems to negate itself, which is good. And like I said, I'm working with the medium mixture now. And I'm going to go ahead and make this turn. So good to see you, sir. Put a little sting in that drink. No, when I get intoxicated, I'm too adorable to women, and we don't need that, you know? I don't, you know. So I get too affable, overly affable. So I make sure I gotta, you know, for everyone's benefit, I have to make sure that I calm that down. And let's see. Jesus says, would be easy to say I would need your airbrush as well, and say yes, that my wife can hear you loud and clear. And that's from Mike saying, Jesus, I've been really hesitant to call myself that, just can't seem to get to it. Oh, you know, I read a great book, and I usually don't talk too much about, you know, books outside of art, but this is called Atomic Habits, and it was really good. It's helping me out this month, and basically he talks about how, you know, we have these goals, but the goals are really contingent on our daily habits. That we can have goals, and goals are important, but the habits aren't in line with what we're doing, then that could cause problems achieving those goals. So like getting up at a certain time, going to bed at a certain time, you know, all the little habits that lead up to the big goal, right? That's what he's saying, which is really quite excellent. So here's an important consideration. So I tell my students all the time, the power of the pencil, right? Now the power of the pencil is really huge, but you have to find the pencil. And where is that pencil? Invariably it's underneath something. So let's look underneath things and we will find it. Underneath, there's really nothing to be underneath here. Let's see, where is that pencil? I know I was working in pastel earlier, so it's not over by my pastel and it didn't fall. Oh, there it is. Nope, that isn't it. Got it. Okay, now we're going to zoom in. She has a beautiful expression, and we're just going to move this over just a tad. Move it down. Okay, so this is why you're drawing. You always have to draw. So draw all the time, whether you're doing digitally in your sketch pad, but you should be drawing every day. So you come here, and that's another thing you learn in my classes, how to draw. And come down here, and then the lip comes down over here like this. So beautiful. Make sure you get your angles correct and the negative space. Those are two aspects. You have your negative space and your angles. You get those correct and you be alright. Okay. And then we'll move this down just like so. And who's saying good night? Mike, have a great night. As always, a pleasure, sir. And take care of yourself. Yes, get a good night's sleep and don't work too hard, okay, sir? And let's see. So Tone says occasionally he burns out somewhat and doesn't produce as much art as he would like. That's everybody, right? And don't feel bad. That's just you having to basically recharge, right? So it's not a defect or anything. It's just you just need time off. And maybe what people tell me is maybe I need more time off, you know, in between so I don't burn out. So maybe I have more scheduled times off, right? So that's what people say to me. So I know they're right. So maybe we both need to do that, Tone, right? We all need to do that. Just take some time off. There we go. And then we'll just right over here, just like so. There we go. And now we can, once we have that there, then we can come in and maybe darken that area up. And then come back to it. There we go. So that's always a lot easier to do it that way than trying doing it with the airbrush. There's no points in doing it all with the airbrush. So with this, it might look like you're not getting anything coming out, but in reality there is. So you want to make sure you don't oversaturate and get spidery. There we go. And you want to try and get that angle correct. And just like when you're learning, like right now I'm learning about cameras and everything like that, what you need to do is to make sure, very good advice there, Colette. Yes, time is short. Definitely do what you love. And so it's very important. I think I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. I don't know what I was saying. Couldn't have been that important, right? Could not have been that. I'm going to go back in there. Make sure you don't oversaturate. And we'll just darken this area right here. We just have to make sure we make this turn. And Stephen says, Jesus, it runs. There is just a fault pressure sensor. Oh, okay, yes, the air pressure, the compressor you were working on. Pretty cool there, Steve. Okay, so we have a little tiny area here. Little hard edge right here. And I'm just going to hit that very quickly. See that? Just that little bit of a dark right there. I want to make sure I get that correct. And get this nice hard edge here. Again, I'm going to plow the field a little bit, right? I don't want to go over the white that I put in there. The white was not a good idea in the early going. But we live and learn, right? And how are we going to learn if we don't do it and say, ooh, that didn't work out, right? That's the only way, unless someone else did it and they can tell you about it, but you still have to experience it yourself to really know not to do that again. Hey, David, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. I thank you so much for the encouragement, sir, and also helping this channel to continue to grow, for me to get new equipment and everything like that. And, you know, it just means so much, David. So, David, thank you so much. And I really hope you keep coming to the channel. You're such a great part of the community, and you know, it's like great people like yourself, and this community just keeps growing and growing. My channel is very small in comparison, and but the thing is, like right now, I think I have 3,839 subscribers. But you know what? Those are 3,839 really fantastic people who are into airbrushing and, you know, are like-minded, and that's what's great. And then the live stream, I don't have that many people in the live stream. I think the most I've had at one time was 29 people. So, but that's what makes it really great, is that we can all talk and get to know each other. If it gets too big, it's kind of difficult, right? Because, you know, the comments go by too quick, and then I don't see it, and we really can't really converse and get to know each other. So this is it's a great time in this channel. I don't know how it's going to grow or what have you. I just am happy where it is right now, and I think that's important. to be happy where the channel is right now, and I really am, because I know the people who do come on aboard are just fantastic, and everything just flows really nicely. So as you can see, I'm plowing the field some more. And David says, quality over quantity. Paul T told me about you, so now... Oh, thank you, Paul. That is so cool of you. Ah, see, Paul's a good guy. Yeah, I... See, Paul is someone who has started coming, and he has just been such an amazing part of the live stream. And we email back and forth, so it's just amazing. And Jesus says, as long as we grow like you, Tim. Yeah, you know what? That's it. I grow, you show me things that you guys are learning, and vice versa. That's what it's all about, you know, is just growth. I had a full-time job working at Amazon, and it was like an hour and a half traveling there, hour and a half traveling back, so that was like 12 hours a day. But I got up 2 hours earlier and worked every day, because if I wasn't growing as an artist, I would be kicking myself. I also painted on my lunch break. I drew to and from on the trains, and on weekends and at night. So, you know, it helps to be unpopular like me. Don't have a date on Saturday, but you know what? There's a silver lining around everything. And Blue says, those that matter are always here for you. Oh, thank you. And Blue says, I am such an inspiration. Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys have always been there for me, and I really look forward to these Wednesday nights, I'll tell you. It's the hallmark of my week, you know? So I really enjoy it, and that's because of you all. That's why I enjoy it so much. And we're just going to make this forehead turn. You know, the forehead's not a plate, but there's a lot of elements to this. And we're going to go ahead and put those elements in. You know, it's a lot of turning, there's muscle, and there's different elements of the skull, like the orbital ridge, and the cartilage bone of the nose. So it's very important, because the skull is really never just this smooth thing, and even in the forehead where we think it might be, but it really isn't. So we're just going to continue like so, and let's see what we can do. I don't like how that's getting a little bit of a blue shift, but like I said, that's how we learn, right? That's how we learn. So let's continue over here, and let's work on some of the musculature of her arm here. And you see here, I'm just going to get the anatomy here. You have the deltoids, and then you have the biceps over here. And we just have to pay attention to the value shifts, and also our knowledge of anatomy really helps. So those two things are great. And Total Pain says, hey Tim, what was the name of the book you were telling us about last week that you are reading? Was that Atomic Habits? I was reading that. And also the 10 to 10x rule and the 5-second rule. Those were the different books. So the book I was reading last week was Atomic Habits, which is really fantastic. And also, is that the one? And Steve C says, Steve, I was hoping it would be a capacitor, but it's within the percentage under 6. He's glad was not the motor. Okay, compressor torque, so that's cool. So let's continue moving down here. And then over here. So we have a nice value here. So let's get rid of some of these pencil lines. There we go. And then we're just going to come in and put some value here. And I think that's sort of like a cast shadow of her hair. I think that's what's going on there. Now think of a painting. I want you to think of a painting as you're in a football game. And let's say you start out the fourth quarter, you're feeling really good, and then all of a sudden you're down 21 points. You don't know what happened. You drew an interception, a pick six. They drew a bomb, scored, and and then you fumbled, and before you know it, you're down 21 points. So let's say it's 21-0. It's in the first quarter. There's plenty of time. There's all the time in the world. And then all of a sudden, but you don't see that, you get nervous. And then what happens is you start pressing, and you normally run the ball, but now you're trying to pass, and you're going outside your game plan because you're nervous that things are not right, and you're 21 points down. But that's equivalent to a painting. So let's say you're working on a painting, right? You're working on a painting and it's just not coming out right. It's not coming out as you planned, right? And that happens all the time. But like that football team, if you go ahead and you go outside your game plan and get nervous and start trying to fix things that, you would normally go outside of your pragmatic approach, then you are setting yourself up for disaster. So what I recommend when things are going not so good, and that's going to happen, that is no matter who you are. Michelangelo had those times. Everyone did. And that's all part of growing, right? When that does happen, you stick with your game plan and you don't go outside of it. And you just fight through it and you be tenacious, right? That's the only way. So you are going to solve the problems in the same way. You are not going to get emotional. You're not going to try and make up the 21 points right away. You're just going to be pragmatic, and pragmatic is a step-by-step approach, right? That's pragmatism. And you want to be a pragmatist when you're painting or drawing or any endeavor that you're doing. Because you know what? That's how you get recipes. That's how, you're baking bread. It comes out good most of the time because you're having a pragmatic approach that is founded on trial and error. So that's the best advice I can give you. When things are not going so well, that's when you want to go ahead and push yourself, right? That's when you want to go ahead, step back and say, you know what? I'm not getting emotional about it. I'm going to stay within myself, and I am going to work it out as I go. But there's no way that I'm going to go outside of my game plan. No way. Because the worst that could happen is that you learn something from it. But to go outside of your game plan and just screw it up because you want to fix it right away, that's totally wrong. So thanks, Jesus. I appreciate that. Steve Hanks. Yeah, Steve Hanks was great. Yeah, I like Steve Hanks a lot. Oh, your dad gave that compressor when you were 29. That's so cool. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your dad, sir. And I know that's really rough. And if that really, I can definitely understand where you're coming from, sir. So I'm just going to be pulling out these lights here, little by little. and I'm going to be working on just getting the values correct and then going from there. I'm going to be using my eraser a little bit, and I'm going to be fixing things as I go. And you want to remember, we always talk about the grain of the skin. That's exactly what we're doing here. We're just following the grain of the skin. Yeah, sorry you lost your dad when you were so young, David. So sorry about that. The sting never goes away. Definitely. I'm just going to be working on this forehead a little bit. I'm just going to lighten it, and I believe that's going to get rid of that kind of yucky gray color that we have here. We can only hope. We can only hope. And where there's lemons, you make lemonade when your painting's not going 100% as you planned. My lemonade's all gone. Okay. Wow, David. If you're talking about my piece, I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know, I started drawing at a very early age, and so that's always going to be my first love. So I always try to make my paintings and my airbrush work all as strong as my drawings. That's the foundation, right? That's the foundation. And let's see if I can come in here and just erase this and lighten this. So our goal is to get rid of that really nasty gray color, and I think we're starting to get it, but it'll take a little time. But time we have. Time we do have. And let's see. I'm going to come over here and see if I could come over here, and I think what it's going to do is going to bring more of that sepia color there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with white pastel and see if that fixes it. But we're just going to continue working on that, and the worst that happens is we start over. That's not too bad, right? Yes, definitely. Cheers. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? Good to see you. Kevin is my brother. How are you, sir? So glad you're here. So that is so great. Kevin is living in West Virginia right now. He's my older brother, and he's a great guy. And I remember he took me to the High School of Art and Design during my entrance exam. And because I was too young to ride the subways by myself, and that was because we just moved to New York, so that was really neat. So great to see you, Kev. What a pleasure. Happy New Year. So now we're gonna experiment and put some white pastel there. See how that goes, right? So that's what we're gonna do. But like I said, you know, when you're experimenting, doing new things, you're going to have trials, and it's going to be not so easy, but you know what? You learn from it, you take mental notes, if not regular notes. Let's see what we have here. Let's try this. It's worth a shot, right guys? Let's see here. There we go. Let's see how this is looking. So I don't think this is coming out all that well. But we're going to be tenacious and we're going to keep at it. Ah, thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. Yes, true. The white is really good when we use it correctly, David, right? So that's the important thing, is to get that going, you know? So yeah, I do love the pastel. The pastel is a real love of mine. There we go. We'll just start this out and we'll come back to it. I know we're going to work it out, so I'm not worried. We're gonna definitely do well with this. But yeah, we are having a little bit of a gray issue here. Like I said, you know, that did not work out. So let's see. We're just going to erase it a little bit more. And this might be a fail. I mean, that has happened. I'm humble enough to know that, you know, this does happen. It happens to me. Not always on a live stream, but it does happen, you know. Oh, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. And thank you for the great comment there, Mr. Mummery. I appreciate that. Okay. So, let's see. I'm just going to try and pull up some of this color here. We'll see how it goes. I may damage the paper, but we'll see. But this is a 189-pound paper, so we have a good chance of coming out on top here. Now, the worst possible thing could have is we know not to do this. But that's not bad, right? That's not bad to have that knowledge if it doesn't work out. Because then you have so much more of a richer lesson than everything coming out perfect every time. Thank you, Blue. I appreciate that. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Jesus. And thanks, David. I appreciate that. So, you guys are just fantastic. Yes, happy accidents, Paul. Definitely, my friend. Definitely happy accidents. We'll put a little reflected light over here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and work with the white pastel. I've been working in pastel most of my life, literally most of my life I've been working in pastel. So it's not a stretch for me to use pastel to save the day. So that's what I'm going to try and do right now, and we'll see what happens. That's the great thing about a live stream, because it's live, right? You don't know what you're going to get. I don't know what I'm going to do. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in here like this. Exactly, Blue. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out. So what? The important thing is that you tried and you get better, and then you can teach somebody. Like if this happens to someone else, I can be like, nope, I know exactly how to fix it, right, Blue? And so that's the fun part of it, I think. So as you see, I'm going to go ahead and put that in there like that. And then I'm going to do something a little cheating. Is I am going to get a yellow pastel that's a very similar color than this here. And I'm going to add it. Watch this, guys. Dun dun dun. Yes, you get more by far from the recovery. Yes, so true. And Paul says, that's all I do is try to make my steaks look better. And that's not a bad thing. And use all your powers to help you, right? And then we'll just sort of, let's see how this goes. Just gonna blend this nicely. Little Houdini act here. There we go. So it looks a little bit better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this and bring this down. We might turn this into a pastel painting. You know, isn't that funny? All else fails. Take out the pastels. See, we have this sort of shift here. I can get rid of it as I will, because I'm going to use this yellow pastel as well. And we'll just bring it in here. Now, if this was a commission, I'd be crying. But it's not, so it's all good in the hood. Oh, thank you so much, Kevin. Great to see you. Love you, bro. Yes, we definitely do, right, Brad? Definitely. Jesus says he's just a rookie, and what are pastels? I mean, oh, well, definitely. Take my class, Jesus, and you'll learn pastels like you never believed. I've been working in pastels since I was 19 years old, and I studied with the best pastel painter in the world, Harvey Dinnerstein. So I'm a member of the Pastel Society of America, signature member, where you have to be elected with a body of work to get in. So, you know, I've exhibited, probably have about 40 to 50 awards nationally, internationally in pastel. So yeah, definitely. Now, who asked that? Jesus, right? Jesus, definitely. Pastel is, and I work in airbrush like a pastel painter, so that's fascinating. There's always a way out. You don't know what it is yet, but there's always a way out. And that's what I'm doing here. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'll just bring in this yellow over here. We're just going to change this painting because the painting pretty much dictated what we're doing here. We'll put a little bit of this here. And then we'll just work this here like this. Bring this over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to experiment a little bit. I'm going to come in with my sepia and I'm going to put it over to pastel and we'll see what it does. Actually doesn't look too bad. Oh, thank you, Blue. It would be an amazing pleasure to work with you. I mean that. Pastels, I think of cake. Sí, pasteles, right? Definitely. And we'll just pull this out over here. I like to get some like really nice light tone here. Let's see how that looks. When all else fails, break out the pastels, right? That almost rhymes. And with the pastels, you can always erase out of it, right? You can always pull out some of the, get some of the values underneath, right? Which is really good. You can tap it, and you see as you tap it, you can get the texture underneath, which is really cool. And so we can do that. And so let's go ahead and put in some of this yellow value. So if we're going to do that here, we should do that everywhere to kind of save this. And then you see if you get any of that blue shift with the pastel, you can just lift it right off. Experimenting with Tim, today's live stream. Yes, I do have, if you're part of the mentorship program, the great thing about my class is that we have a one-on-one together, and at most it's going to be 5 people in the class. So it's 1 to 5 people, and I have classes available every day. So pretty much, if you have a specific time you're available, we definitely work around your schedule, and that would be really great. So that's something to definitely look into. Email me, and you'll find that, you know, taking a class with me, you're going to grow as an artist because it's $300. It's $100 a month, $50. So you get a one-on-one class, or you know, depending on how the classes grow. At the very most, 5 people in the class. And you study with me once a week for 2 hours. And then there's a group class that we have once a week as well. So that's 4 hours instruction. And so that's only $100 a month for 4 hours instruction. And also you have me available to ask any questions during the week and stuff like that, which is really fantastic. So my students grow as artists because if nothing happens, if life gets real crazy, at the worst they're working 4 hours a week. And if you work 4 hours a week for 1 year, you're going to grow as an artist. So think about that. And you're under my tutelage, and I'll be sharing techniques with you and everything like that, which would be really advantageous for your growth as an artist. And I think what I really strive for with my students is their growth outside of my studio, because I share principles with them and they work on it during the week, and we meet that one day during the week, every week at the same time. And it's just amazing to see them take their artwork to that next level. It really is. So I really believe in the program. I don't have to sell it because, I don't have to push it or, convince anyone, because I really feel it's something that really works for the growth of an artist. And remember, I have like the Harvard equivalency of an art school education. So I know the teaching methods of the National Academy School of Fine Arts, the Art Students League. So I know how to get the best out of you, Jesus says that I could sell dirt and I will buy it. Well, I'll promise you that, the class is going to be really one of the more wonderful things that you did for yourself. And so I honestly promise that to you, because I love teaching. I love seeing my students grow as painters, as artists. I love seeing you guys grow as artists. Go. Fantastic. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate that. Oh, yes. Steve Leahy's work. Yes. If you own one of his paintings, I have one of his paintings, and that's a treasured possession. His work is even better up close than online. That I promise you. Really fantastic. Okay, so let's come ahead and put some of that pastel down here. And you see how we can get rid of that kind of So what I'm seeing here, so what are the takeaways from this is that you definitely want to, now I do see that it is starting to get more sepia once we put in this pastel here. So you see that? We're getting rid of that. But definitely you want to get rid of that white, because that white that we put in at this stage was detrimental. But that was my fault, so I take my lumps. And you're going to have your lumps. But now, when I have a class, I can tell my student, hey, don't do that. This way, my pain is your gain, right? And let's see. Brad says, let's see. 9 of Steve's work. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's a great collection. Definitely a great collection to have, and it will be worth a lot of money one day. And Jesus says, Tim, 100 on that because it will take X-ray vision to appreciate Steve's art. True, very true. Paul says, Eddie and Skull Panel Blue. Wow, that's cool. That's really great. Okay, let's walk away from that a little bit and we'll come back. But you know what? It's not bad. It's not as bad as it was. So we're going to stick with that. It's not as bad as it was. And that's not bad. If it's not as bad as it was, I'll take it, right? And then remember, we have our kneaded eraser to pull up anything that, you know, we can just pull that up very easily. It's actually coming together, guys. So I'm really getting a little bit happier. A little bit happier, not too much happier. Let's not get carried away, but a little bit happier. So Steve says, cash him in, huh? Like stock. Hey, Mr. Todd, how are you? How's the new job going? Will the pastel absorb any of the... Oh, okay. So would the pastel absorb any of the airbrush? It does, actually. But you'll see it sits right on top, right? Look how it sits on top. And now you get more of a real feel for... See, now a lot of that is going away. And we're getting a little more of the sepia kind of sitting on that and getting rid of that gray, which is nice. So that's working out a little bit. And we're going to revisit that, but I do like the fact that we're getting rid of the gray. So again, I could come here and I could put some of this yellow here, right? Yellow pastel. And then I can just kind of bring that in here. There we go. So you see now I can come back and the pastel will sit right on top of that and kind of negate some of that gray. And then you get more of a feeling of the actual sepia and not that cool blue shift. And then let it dry for a sec. Just put some air on that. And we'll just go over that. Maybe a little more yellow, right? Can't Hoyt. This is definitely recovery day. So what I would do, I'll be right back. So I just need this to put my pastel palette on here. And this is cool because this is actually kind of a wild thing we're doing right now. Very outside the norm, but I think it's a great lesson. So right now I want to get a little bit more of an orangey color in that yellow, right? So let's do that. Let's make this happen, people. And now I'm looking for my scissors, which are right here. Now this is not an optimal, this is definitely not an optimal surface for a pastel. This is sort of 911, what's your emergency kind of thing. So I'm going to come in with a little more of a warmer color here. Maybe a little deeper yellow here. And remember, we can always get rid of that. So sometimes a mistake might bring a new technique. You just don't know. So you might have seen the birth of a new technique just now. Or you just might see me just making a mistake. But it's cool, it's live. I can bring in some richer color here. Let's do that. See if that works. It doesn't work, and then you just take, that's the great thing about pastel, you can just tap it right off. And then you can come in with the airbrush and you can put some more sepia right on top of that. Just like so. Or we can just take a warmer color . Warmer color like so, and bring this over. So we'll see where this goes. So it says, Tim has a surveillance camera. It follows you all the time. David, hey, Omas, good to see you. How's it going? Oh, David, take care. I didn't see you were leaving. Have a great night, David. Thanks for hanging out, sir. Let's see. Yeah, the surveillance camera. So if I go down this path, I'll definitely go down the path all the way. So we'll just continue working on this here like this, and we'll see where it takes us. Let's bring that over here then. We're going down this road. Let's go down the road together. We don't care. Like the movie Grandma's Boy, where he says, I'll go to the loony bin together. I don't give a blank. We're going to make this work no matter what. And let's see. Renata, you're a bot. Why are you here? Yes, definitely. So we're just going to continue down this road with pastel. I know you wasn't expecting a pastel, but it just goes to show you that if you never know what's going to happen with a work of art, and so you always have to be ready. So I'm going to actually come in. So this is going to be a mixed media piece. So we're going to be using pastel and airbrush together. So I think that's going to be cool. So what do we got to lose, right? And then we can always calm down the value, right, by coming in there. But at least we're getting rid of the dreaded yellow blue shift, right? I mean, that's that grayish blah color. We're getting rid of that. So that's a good thing. So rather than succumb to it and say, okay, you know, that's it, you win. No way. That's not how we're going to play. We're going to fight, rage against the dark. Rage against the darkness. We'll go down fighting if we go down. Right? We might go down, but we are going to be fighting, and we're going to see how it comes out. And I think it's going to be a good lesson for you all and a good lesson for me as well. You know, what do I do when things don't go right and they don't go right on the live stream, right? Am I going to give up? Am I going to have a temper tantrum? Am I going to blame the paper? Am I going to blame the relative humidity? No, I'm going to take my lumps. And I'm going to say, hey, Tim Dunn messed up. But how can I recover? How can I bring this together? Wendy, how you doing? We were all asking about you. How are you feeling? You know? Omar says bots have feelings too. Tim, do you find that the sepia erasable? Yeah, that's no problem. The sepia, good question, Brad, but no problem with the erasing, that's for sure. But as you can see, I'm going to make this a successful piece. It may not be the successful piece that I originally envisioned, but I'm going to work it out. We're going to bring this over. Let's see. So right here, we're just going to lighten this for texture. We miss you, Wendy, that's for sure. And let's see. Let's work this out. We're going to put in some of the lighter value of this forehead here. Tim's live stream. What not to do. We're going to bring this up here. See how I'm using all the different tools to survive. There we go. So now what we have to do is we have to bring some of that magic that we were doing over here and bring that into her face here, right? So we can't, you know, come in with pastel and then not come in pastel other areas, right? Now we done did it. So now we have to work on unifying. So that's one of the things that is a good lesson is when you're working with any kind of color, you have to have a unification. So you have to move that color and that texture down. You can't just keep it in one area. That just doesn't work. So that's important. I don't want to, but need all the tools you have, Tim. Oh, cool. No, definitely. And so definitely, if you have any questions, I'll help you with that. And you don't need all the tools to start. You need all the tools as you go. So it's not going to be like you have to get like X amount of money. You know, you don't have to go crazy with expenses in the beginning, right? So that's something you don't have to when you take my classes. Let's bring that color down here. Kind of turned into an airbrush pastel kind of piece, which isn't bad. And then let's go ahead and put a rich dark in there, shall we? Let's see, why not? We're going to go to the loony bin together. We don't care, right? Let's turn this into something special. So I'm coming in with this really rich red color. Look at that, guys and girls. I bet you weren't expecting this. But this is what 40 years of experience does. You kind of can, you know, go on a fly. So Wendy says, are you going back and forth now? I'm working in sepia, but mostly still in the India inks. But once in a while I'll do sepia, not too often. Lately I've been doing it every other one, but I'm going to calm down with that. So as you see how I can sort of come in with the pastel now. Bum, bum, bum. I couldn't live with that horrible blue shift, so we're going a different direction. We're switching gears. And it's cool because I didn't plan this. But you know, 40 years of experience in pastel, so you can know when things get tough, I'm going to go back to my roots. See how I pull that out there? You know what? It's all in the journey, Jesus, right? Just have a fun time, and the rest, the learning part takes care of itself. But if you study pastels with me, you definitely will learn exponentially quicker than if you were studying with anyone else in that medium. And that's not being cocky. That's just a fact. And I could kind of calm down. See how it's very high in chromatic value? I can calm that down a little bit. Same thing here. I could just tap that, calm that down. And now you can see how I'm kind of pulling this together. I can just very lightly calm down this value, lower the saturation a little bit, right? Then come back right here. just like so. Come in with a nice pink color. And tap away wherever you don't need it. And same thing, you know, we can definitely adjust some color here, like in the lips. Just like so. And then this is a deeper color. We're just doing a glaze over that we'll go over later, right? So we can definitely fix it later. You can kill some of the saturation here, like so. We can come in with that deeper color again. Let's see what happens. Definitely going a different route here, my friends, right? Definitely going a different route. And let's get this here. We're going to pull in some lighter color here on the tip of that nose. So this is basically saving this piece here because that blue shift was just 1,000 headaches and I wasn't willing to go down that route. So that's why I'm going the route of the mixed media, because yeah, I could have fixed it, but is it worth it? And that's my question that I asked myself. And then I said, nope, it's not worth it. So that's why I'm going to go down this route, this road. Hey Juan, how you doing, my friend? Mr. Juan, all the way from the UK. ¿Cómo está, señor? Always great to see you. Juan and I have a class together tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. I'm usually there 11:45, right, Juan? Because of coffee, you know? The coffee's not ready in time. But I always appreciate his patience with me, so that's great. Thank you for that. And, oh, for a few minutes. Oh, great to see you. What a pleasure. And just working out some of the details. Oh, Air Todd said she choked on a grate, Tim. That's why she was turning. I hope not. That's pretty funny, but not the case, thank God. Just going to extend some of that dark value, that mid-tone dark. Extend that out here. Just like right over here. And then if you see that, you know, the color is a little strong, there's two ways you can go about it. You can go lighter, and you can kind of glaze over it to get sort of a nicer value here. Softer gradation, you can do that. Or, if all that's not working, then you just come in here and you just tap that. You kind of calm that down. Same thing here. So we are at 11:27, which is cool. So we're doing really well. So this was a very interesting live stream. Can't say it was boring, right, everybody? That's for sure. And thank you, Blue. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, David, for the super chat, the donations. I really appreciate that. That is so appreciated, so needed, and you know, it means a lot more than you know. So that's a good thing. So you're doing a very good thing by doing that, and I just want to thank you. And just gives me hope that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And so thank you for that. Really, really appreciate it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to layer this, and then we're going to be working in pastel and going over an airbrush like so. And you see, you can work the airbrush right over it, which is really great. So you can see how I can work with the airbrush to unify some of these colors and actually make this work. I can soften some of these edges here. Pastel and airbrush work very well together. I feel they're sister arts because one really lends itself to the other. You can see how the airbrush paint actually sits right on top of it, you know. And take care there, Mr. Air Todd. Good to see you. And oh, thank you, Jesus. So glad you're here. And thank you. So it is no, it's 11:29. We're still going. So have a great night, Colette. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here and your support. I appreciate it so much. And as you can see, we are just working this out, and it doesn't look that bad, but I know it looks 100 times better than what it looked like. So sometimes you have to go, I know I was talking about sticking with the game plan, but drastic times calls for drastic measures. And I think that was a drastic measure, what was happening with that blue shift. So as you can see, we're just going to continue working. I'm going to continue working this as a pastel airbrush next week. So it's definitely going to be very cool. Thank you, Tone. I appreciate that. Always a pleasure. See you in the morning, my good friend. And everybody, it's 11:30. Thank you so much. I finished all of my lemonade. I have a little iced tea I'm going to have before bed. I will see you next week. And everyone, have a great night. And I think you're all amazing. You're all amazing artists. And it's just a pleasure to know you. Take care, everybody. How do I turn this off? I always say that, right? So if I hit this button And then I come over here